So, I just finished reading chapter 4. I am about to start reading chapter 5. Flambe and Marie finally made it to the sea, but Flambe is starting to have feelings for Marie. He's thinking that maybe he's going to marry her. He's kind of torn because he's a pirate. He wants what he wants, but Marie got bit by a lizard, and we didn't know if she was gonna live or die, and it turned out that she lived. So, and now Flambe got feelings for her, and he want to marry her. Oh my gosh. All right. Chapter 5. Flambe, Flambe. Marie was awake and shaking the pirate's shoulder. What? What? He opened his eyes and squinted against the strong morning sun. What's going on? You are having a nightmare. Flambe rolled over on his side. Marie, you're up. You're all right. Of course I'm all right. Why shouldn't I be? I'm starved. Is there anything for breakfast? If we walk a few miles, we'll reach an inland finger of the sea. I can catch some fish and we'll cook them with ackee fruit. Then let's move out. I'm so hungry I could take a bite out of the Moses over there. I wonder why they call it a Moses tree. The donkey drew back its ears in response to his name. Oh, what am I thinking? Let's go back a little bit. If we walk a few miles, we'll reach an inland finger of the sea. I can catch some fish and we'll cook them with ackee fruit. Then let's move out. I'm so hungry I could take a bite out of Moses over there. The donkey drew back in ears in response to his name. They quickly packed their gear and headed across the low grassland. I can smell it now, Flambe. I can smell what? The sea. The ground beneath Andrew Sheffield's feet was sandy. Each step emitted a gritting sound. Marie kept a good 10 feet ahead of him. He marveled at her recovery and was pleased. She didn't seem to remember the incident. The bandage had fallen from her ankle, and she was proceeding with more strength and determination than ever. The uneven coastline spread out before them. I think a good night's rest might have helped her. She was tired and stressed, so she woke up feeling good. Flambe kept watching for signs only he knew. They stopped on a narrow stretch of beach whose sand was as white as a sheet of unbleached muslin. Okay. Using a sharpened bamboo for a spear, Flambe caught several fish and prepared them. Using the ackee fruit they had carried from the tree, after eating and bathing in the sea, they both felt revitalized. We must look for all angular rock. We must look for a tall, angular rock, he told Marie. I called it the Devil's Yardstick. It juts out over the coastline and points toward the sea. Why? What is there? Asked Marie. You'll find out, my sweet lady, he replied enigmatically. My sweet lady. This guy. They traveled along the coastline, making good time. Walking was easy when unencumbered by tall grass, stones, or thick underbrush. How soon will we reach Montego Bay? Asked Marie, dancing along the sand. Obviously, this guy has been to Montego Bay before. I think that must have been where he was headed before he got arrested, right? How soon will we reach Montego Bay? Asked Marie, dancing along the sand. We don't reach it until after we've found the devil's yardstick, answered Flambe. We probably won't reach it until tomorrow. What is Montego Bay like? The pirate thought a moment. It is a small, unimpressive coastal town, but the people who live there have ambition. They are all from England, France, and Holland. What do people do there for a living? Asked Marie, hoping she would not have to go back to being a prostitute. You ask too many questions, Marie, but I want to know. I don't want to live as a prostitute. If there's a decent work to be had, then I'll do it. Did you ever think of marrying? Pshaw. Who'd marry the likes of me? Nobody marries a prostitute. You're wrong, Marie. You don't look like a prostitute. You don't act like a prostitute. You can start a new life in Montego Bay. Nobody will know your past. Who's to tell? Everybody in Port Royal was killed. I'm the only survivor. And you won't tell? Why should I? I would have nothing to gain if you were ashamed. There are bound to be men who have visited Port Royal who were not there when the earthquake happened. Then you just deny. You just deny it. If you should marry very well, I believe you can. Then would not they would not dare spread inappropriate rumors. But who is in Montego Bay? There's a great money there. There's great money there. There are the owners of the sugar plantations. That's where the money is. Is that all? Asked Marie. What do I know about being the mistress of a great house and overseeing servants? Is that what they call them? Servants? It is easy enough to learn how to give orders. It is much harder to learn how to take them. Is there nothing else? There are a great many slave traders in Montego Bay. They import the slaves from Africa. It is more or less a stopover. Slaves are shipped on to America to be sold again. I don't think I would want to be married to a slave trader, she shuddered. I cannot help but feel sorry for the poor devils. And why is that? Because, she replied, I have been somewhat a slave myself, and I could not respect a man who profited by them. Oh, so you wish to respect the man you marry? And why not? If we're talking of dreams, he should be handsome to boot. Flambe turned his head from her to hide a smile. And what of sex, my dear lady? Would you forego the pleasures of sex? Well, she replied thoughtfully, I have heard that gentlewomen do not enjoy such things, nor do their husbands wish them to. So I should feign indifference. Mm, that's a thought, huh? That's terrible. Okay, times really have changed. What? And let your husband take his pleasure among prostitutes? I shouldn't care where he takes where I shouldn't care where he took his pleasure if I had a great house and pretty clothes to wear. Why not marry a man who could give you everything you wanted, including the kind of sex you desire? He grabbed her wrist and held her fast. Hot, full-blooded lovemaking. That's what you were made for, Marie. No, I cannot see you married to some namby-pamby Englishman who would respect you for the wrong reasons. Respect you for the wrong reasons. That's different. Respect you for the wrong reasons. Is that like the opposite of disrespect? Okay. Or is it the same as disrespect? But I would want respect, said Marie, pulling her wrist out of his grasp. And so would you, and so you would have it, but respect for the right things. You're a strong and beautiful woman, Marie. That is to be respected. In the bedroom, respect should be kept on the other side of the door. That is the kind of man you should marry. And where should I find such a man? You conjured the impossible, Flambe. Handsome, rich, and passionate. I don't even believe such men exist. Or not, so I've heard. Flambe did not reply, but trudged onward, passing Marie, and leaving her alone to her thoughts. They reached a wall of rock. Flambe sprinted, crying out in glee. We're almost there, Marie. Almost where? She watched Flambe climb the rocks, clap his hands together, and jump and up and down like a small child who had discovered a hidden present. She increased her pace, and soon she was standing next to him, staring at a large rock formation that jutted from the shoreline and pointed out to the sea. She flushed with embarrassment. The rock was shaped like a huge penis. That's it, exclaimed Flambe. That's the devil's yardstick. Mmm, the devil's yardstick. And they just got finished having this conversation about sex, and it looks like a huge penis. Wow. Marie smiled weakly. You mean to tell me we've survived an earthquake, crazed natives, a cave full of bats, and a landslide to end up staring at a rock that looks like a man's privates? Flambe laughed and slapped Marie on the buttocks. It's not the rock we're after, you silly woman, but what lies buried beneath it. Come, hurry, and get the darn donkey. We can't afford to lose him now. Flambe ran across the sand. When he reached the base of the rock furthest from the sea, he fell to his knees and began scooping up handsful of the sandy earth, throwing them over his shoulder. Marie had managed to get across the rocks and came up behind him. Have you gone mad, man? Flambe laughed. Mad? Totally mad. Don't just stand there, woman. Help me. Help me dig. He grabbed her arm and pulled her down roughly beside him. Dig? She asked. What are we digging for? The shovels. They're hidden here too, wrapped in oiled canvas so they wouldn't rust. You buried shovels? Good God, you are slow. Of course I buried shovels. I couldn't very well approach the yardstick carrying shovels, could I? Everybody would know what I was after. After? I'm a pirate, god dang it. What do you think I've got buried here? It's treasure, woman. The best collection of treasure ever. The cream of the crop. I've been collecting it for years, selecting only the best pieces, the finest gold, the most perfect pearls. Marie's mouth fell open. You mean this is why we crossed the island? Of course, he roared. What the heck did you think? All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. Um, we have quite a few pages still in chapter 5 before we get to part 2. So part 2 starts right before chapter 6. So I'll be back.